Hello again friends, it's Keith with Rockford Homes How-To video series. Today we're going to discuss painting. Oftentimes you can buy an entire paint kit. It'll generally contain some type of a roller, some type of a roller cage, generally a paint pan, and if you're lucky, the paint can opener. At Rockford Homes, we leave you a supply of paint in your basement, generally under the stairs, in which your home was painted with. It'll have the best opportunity of matching the existing paint that you have in your home. There's a label on top of the can. You can generally take your old paint can in, show them that label, and they'll be able to reproduce that paint color for you. I want to take a moment to talk about paint flashing. Paint flashing is a condition where an area of touch-up looks heavier than the surrounding areas of paint, even though it's the same color. What paint touch-up techniques that I'll show you today is generally called feathering out that paint. Your paint, when it's in the basement, will settle down. You'll start to have more of the thicker agents and more of the dye down in the bottom of your paint can, more of the water and less of the paint in the top of the can. So it's vital, and absolutely vital, that you mix that paint can up. You can take it to a paint store and you can have it shaken. You can shake it yourself. Oftentimes people will generally just use a stir stick. You can use a ruler. Use anything that you can use to stir the stick that won't shed debris into your paint can. The best way to open a paint can is with a paint can opener because it has a double rolled seal. You can see these two edges here. A lot of times people will do is they'll open their paint can with anything flat, a butter knife. You roll the first primary seal out, and when you go to reseal your paint can, it won't seal real well, and your paint can dry up as it sits downstairs after you've done your first repair. And you don't want that because you don't want to waste the paint which is already matched to your home. You're just going to work your way around the paint can slowly until you get that paint can lid popped off of there. It's best to do this on the ground rather than standing up so that your paint can doesn't pop off and fling paint everywhere. I'll take this paint can lid off. We're going to go ahead and set it in a safe spot onto your drop cloth or your tarp so that you don't get paint anywhere. We're going to go ahead and mix this paint up. This one hasn't been in the basement too long, so it's not really separated that badly. I'm going all the way down to the bottom of the paint can and I'm making sure that I get the corners. When you're done, you're going to have paint all over your paint stick or your stir stick. So you're going to want to go ahead and have, again, a drop cloth or another bucket or something around that'll keep you from dropping this paint onto your other surfaces. Paint pans generally have an alcove or a lowered section in them. Then they've got a flat section on them that's a little bit raised up. You never want to overflow your lowered section into your flat section because this is where you'll have most of your paint in reserve. This is where you'll actually going to apply the paint to your roller. Because we're doing a smaller repair and we won't need all that much paint, I'm only going to put a little bit of paint into this reservoir here. You'd want to do this on the floor and you want to do it with a drop cloth so that you don't get paint everywhere. For the sake of videoing, we're going to go ahead and do it at this level because there's not a lot of paint in this pan. We're going to pour just a little bit into our reservoir. Again, we don't need that much because it's a small touch-up, and this will be the paint that you use during your repair. Let me introduce you to our paint roller. There's different types of naps, is what it's called, for your roller that you can have, and that's the amount of fuzz that's on a roller. Most Rockford homes are painted with a 3/8 inch nap roller on any of the painted wall surfaces. Anytime that you're doing paint touch-ups on your smooth surfaces, you'll want to get an appropriate smooth roller. When you first get a paint roller out of its container, it's going to have a little bit of extra fuzz on it from manufacturing. A pro tip is to take some tape, wrap it around the roller so that you can get that fuzz and that debris off of the roller. Otherwise, the first time that you use a roller, you'll find that you've got little fuzzies and little hair in your paint. Like I said before, we're going to take some of this darker paint. We're going to apply it to our roller just by rolling the roller through the paint. We're going to use this flat part and we're just going to act like we're painting a wall right here onto that flat spot of the paint. Okay? Then that leaves us with a more consistent amount of paint on our roller. So now we'll apply it to the wall. We want to cover what we've already painted, right? So we get that in there nice and thick. We want to continue to work that out to where it's lighter in these other areas through here. Okay? So we'll do that now. We'll come in here, just slow and easy. We're just going to work that out that way. You're starting to see grainier paint. Nice thick coverage, grainier, and we're going to go lighter towards more grainy and more grainy until we end up having a real well blended area. No, just a lighter touch, like you're just trying to caress the wall. You're not trying to put any pressure on it at all. And the better that you can feather this in and the lighter that you can make this gradation between the center and the edge, the less that you're going to be likely to see this spot after it's all dry. We're back to our now dry product on the wall, and it's all but vanished. So we've been able to go ahead by using that feathering technique and make that disappear to the naked eye.